People in Oslo have endured poor air quality for years, and they actually have a lot of the same problems that we have here in Salt Lake City, including winter inversions. So in 2015, they elected a new city government, and since then there have been a lot of changes. We're talking policies that support the adoption of electric vehicles, make it harder to drive gas and diesel cars, and help people get around with new bike lanes, new buses, and a new subway line. So I teamed up with photojournalist Spenser Heaps, and we went to Oslo to find out, is it working, and how are these changes affecting the everyday lives of real people?
The air quality in Oslo is really important to us because it has a direct effect on our health, especially my youngest child's health. In addition to asthma, he has something called tracheobronchomalacia, which easily translates to floppy airways, which means that the cartilage in his trachea and his bronchs are not fully developed.
It feels a little hard at the winter. I can breathe so good at the winter.
You can't breathe as good in winter?
No.
No. But in summer, how do you breathe then?
Really good.
Really good.
I can run so long.
Yeah, it's difficult for you to run.
It started in 2012 where we got an electric assist cargo bike, mainly just for the fun of it. But then it sort of opened up to a world of really efficient mobility. The usage and the sort of potential for use for that bike has really changed our lives. I feel like a happier person because of it. The time I spend commuting is also quality time because we chat and we look at things, and if there's something interesting, we might stop, or we stop to have a chat with people and we wave to the people we know, and it's just a good way of life. There are a lot of good things happening in Oslo at the moment to help people and sort of prioritize people in the city.
Trading in your car for a cargo bike seems great if you live in the city, but what about people who live in the suburbs? Say we're talking about Utah. It might work for somebody who lives in Sugar House, but what about somebody who lives at the point of the mountain and commutes downtown for work?
I live outside Drammen, which is 30 minutes outside Oslo. So in total, I spend about 90 minutes at least every day going back and forth to my work. And I think it's worth it because I get to live in a beautiful place close to the nature. So we made the conscious decision that even though we would have to commute to Oslo, it's worth it. If you live in Oslo, everyone uses public transportation, but out here it's a different story. I mean, I have to wait 1 hour for my local bus. That's not sustainable. Like if I want to go to the food store or whatever, I need a car. I can't be depending on bus. When they tax the diesel that you have in your car, they make you pay huge amounts of toll roads going in and out of Oslo. It frustrates you, obviously, because you think that you pay enough. Like gas prices are super high here, and tax levels are super high as well. We do like to think about the environment and help wherever we can. But my personal view of that is that you can help in much better ways in different places, because I don't think Oslo, Norway is the biggest problem if you look at the global picture.
I think the problem with bad air is that not everybody feels it. For people who have lung diseases, you can feel it and you are affected by it. But it's really hard sometimes to get a change in the general population, because if they are not affected by it, why should they care? So it's quite important to make people understand that this is a problem, this is an invisible enemy, and it will affect you as well.
I think it's really important to show that you don't have to be like a hippie, communist, crazy person to lead this kind of lifestyle. It's important to sort of have the incentives in place that makes it a convenient choice for everyone.
It's clear that not everybody in Oslo is totally on board with these changes. But Oslo's goal is to make the green alternatives so good that they make sense for everybody. Even someone like Martin, who isn't all in on the politics, but still takes the train to work because it's actually cheaper and more convenient. This approach seems to be working. More people than ever are taking public transit and driving electric vehicles, and the air quality is improving. Still, it's not without a cost. So I guess the question that remains is it worth it?
Well, I do understand that a lot of things can be inconvenient and change is hard, and having something quite inconvenient is difficult. So I agree that it's hard, but at the same time, how can you get change if you're not willing to sacrifice something? And I do think that after 5 years, people won't really remember or recall the restrictions, and they won't really think about it as difficult as it was. Overall, I think that what they're doing is good, and any improvement is a good improvement because air quality is important.